aside from working with me, which is obviously the highlight of your life, I think the stuff you're doing with Lola-Rose Maxwell is absolutely. I mean, it's really taken off as well because it's.
No, has it? Yes,
I think so.
It's taken. What was nice is that the sketches and stuff, which I do find it funny because it's like I think we do maybe 4 sketches a year, which is like. The algorithm is not, that's just not what you're meant to do at all. But that's a beautiful noise.
That's my doorbell.
My
kids are on the way to their art class. That's when someone passes in front of my door, it goes blah, 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 blah. If someone rings the doorbell, it goes blah, blah, blah.
That's really nice. I don't have any of this tech.
While I was away on tour, this is it sort of was tragic and nice at the same time. But when anyone comes to the door, a thing comes up on my phone saying there's someone at the door or, someone's moved by the door. And I could look at the video and then see my wife my wife answered the door to a delivery guy and my son ran out and went, hello to the delivery man. And I was just watching from a hotel room and I felt like a sort of God and a pervert and also happy to see my family. We're sort of like peeping, they don't know you're watching them. There's something wrong, even though it's your own family. But also it made me feel like, it made me feel sad that you try not to think about your family too much when you're away. But it made me sad to see like a mundane piece of life, but also very happy to see them as well. So yes, it's...
There's very few things that can elicit the cross-section of you feel like a pervert and you're happy to see your family. I can't actually think of anything else.
No, I can't think of anything.
Can you speak? Can you speak through it?
Yes, you can. You can if you choose to. You can speak through it. So, but it's all quite out of sync, I think, as well. So I'm not. I think if you spoke, it would probably be confusing. But I think it's certainly when you're that far away as well. But yeah, it's you wouldn't have ever had that in the past. If you were away from your family, you would just either have to use your memory or just forget about them.
Yeah,
and then you suddenly get these little reminders of their everyday life just at the door. Also
really
if my wife's lover turns up at the door, I'll be able to catch her in the act.
Because they'll probably do it outside the door, so you'll
If a guy arrives, go, hello, I'm here. I'm here for
the sex. And he's doing big gestures so you can see. Like,
I heard your husband's in Barnard Castle. It's going to be fine. Yeah, there's no way he can find out. Let's go inside and talk. They could just use the back door. I mean, I don't want to give her I don't want to give her tips on how to have an affair while I'm away.
I reckon she'll already know that. I don't think that's a tip. Don't be videoed. Don't video your lover. Yeah. Very easy.
Well, you've got to think of these things. Anyway, what were we talking about? We were talking about your stuff with Lola-Rose.
Oh, yes. Talking of your wife having an affair, the content. No, it's fun because I think I don't think, there was a little bit, I don't know if you get this, I'm sure you do, because I think, maybe you don't. I'll just say it rather than pontificate.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's the great thing about a conversation.
And before you say it, I'm going to think I do get it. Let's see, but then I'll find out what it is and I'll let you know.
Okay, I'll say something deranged now. No, it's really normal. So is that the more I did like online stuff and the more like, I don't know, I got sort of sucked into the analytics of it, of being like, okay, that did really well. Okay, so I've got to you've got to post this regularly, or you've got to like, or if like a couple of weeks went past and I hadn't done anything, I would start to not panic, like, but like just be like, God, right, I've got to really get on it. And sometimes things wouldn't come naturally, and then we ended up doing a couple of sketches that I don't really think we should have done. Like, I didn't really like them particularly, and you're like, hang on, I'm still phoning it in. You're like, you can't really, what's the point? And then I can't remember who said it. It might have been my partner, but he was just a bit like, what's the point of phoning it in when like, or forcing yourself or pushing yourself when like, it's literally the whole point of it is your job. Like, you're making the parameters of it. Like, you're not beholden to anybody, but you become. Well, I became very just quietly, slowly started to like. The algorithm was the boss basically, and it was this is silly. And I would see other people who have done incredibly well. Like there's a couple of online comedians that sometimes get mentioned in the same sentence as sometimes get mentioned in the same sentence as, and I feel bad for them because it's like, as in having me in that is not appropriate, because I will do like biannual sketches and they are doing content every single day. Like they will spend a week and it will be like a shoot week, and they will shoot. So and then that will just be them and then they're also doing like Instagram stories like around that, and I honestly would die. So what's been nice is being like, I will. The one stipulation is that me and Lola will only do stuff if one of us has an idea that the other one's like, yeah, I can think of ideas for that, rather than going, I suppose we should do like one. So maybe, I mean, we did one about a few months ago, because I was pretty like down and a bit like creatively sad because the thing that I'd written and we'd done together was too expensive to be made, or basically we got dicked around quite a lot by like very channels who were like, oh my god, we're going to make it, and then did instead like a reality show with Roman Kemp or something, and you're like, that's how was I in the same how was it either or, dude, like come on. But like, so yeah, I was a bit down, and then we just brainstormed loads of sketch ideas, and one of them was Lola had just bought a light bulb and had found it really overwhelming, and we were like, that's not going to do anything, but we couldn't stop thinking of jokes for it. We found it really funny, and we like really enjoyed it, and I don't actually know how it did. I think it did fine, but it was really nice to be like, oh, a reminder of this is what lockdown has given, is that there are people who will watch it, and it doesn't matter if it's got like 17 million or 100,000 or 10. Like, it's actually really nice to do stuff, and that has been a very slow learning curve for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't see. I think probably I'm not exactly the same as that, in that I don't really look at how I sometimes look at how this is doing, and then it does start the main podcast, just because it financially affects you how many downloads you get, and so then you can, and they actually changed something, so it suddenly went down like 100,000. Like 100,000.
Nobody Panic was the same. So it's horrible.
And then you suddenly start worrying about stuff. Then someone tells you, oh no, they've changed the algorithm, so it's fine. But yeah, so it's a little bit, but like I think you do. But I am on a very different part of my career. But so like when I'm doing stuff like my stupid puppet show, I don't even think about how many people. On my stone clearing thing, I never look at how many people are listening to it. I hope it's zero. I hope it's zero. I really hope it's zero. But it isn't, because occasionally someone mentions it or emails me, but not very much. And I didn't do it for about 4 months, and I think like one person emailed me and said, "Where is it?" So I quite. But those are my favourite things, and so I think it is just about like. I think the wherever you are in your career, I think it's right to say, just do do stuff that's making you feel happy and that you want to do and that you think is good. Certainly don't get to the point. I certainly didn't notice any dip in the quality of the stuff that you guys were doing, and I like that it's not all the time. I admire those guys who are putting stuff out all the time, and and I think that's a great way of doing it as well, because not all of them are going to hit, but something's going to hit, and it's also fun to get to get into something like that. But it is when your things come along, you go, oh great, there's another one of those, and and then you can sort of enjoy it. I watched one that I hadn't seen, which is Screen Time, which is a longer, like a sort of 15-minute piece, is it?
That was the thing that basically, like, so I obviously, when the sketch is doing well, I had about 17,000 meetings of the TV people going, we just really want to harness online content, and to be like, okay, and then I'd sort of say ideas, and they'd be like, yeah, what about? And then they'd just like describe RudeTube, and then be like, but you're the Alex Zane. It was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to like point at things and go, that's online. Like, I don't think that's using the medium appropriately. And then there's a lot of, as well, which I find quite interesting, a lot of like where's sketch gone, and like something like the day-to-day, like why don't you do something like that but for online? And I had to kind of be like, the reason the day-to-day works is because it was on the medium it was parodying, whereas when you like, it's TikTok but it's on TV, it just is wrong, it jars, it's like odd. So then we were trying to think of a way that we could do it, and so then what I wanted to do was like the streaming platforms, and so many people saying we want to direct people to the streaming platforms. I mean, as well as the channel, obviously, like 4OD or whatever. Like, I mean, they don't call it that, but whatever. How can we harness something that would like be maybe streaming platform only and whatever? So we created this thing that was meant to be on your phone, and then people were like, "Oh my god, that's amazing! That'd be great!" And then when there was so when I was like, well, it's here, would you like it? They were like, well, I don't have any money to do that, obviously. Have you thought about doing like a studio sitcom about a flat share? And it was like, I want to die. Like, and so you had like 2 years of people going, oh, it'd be great if you could, you harness your sketches and extrapolate them into a longer medium. And then you do that. And then they go, we can't do that. What a shame. Right. And there was like 2 really close misses where basically they were like, yes, oh, actually, no. And it bummed me out so much. I then refused to write anything for like 7 months. I was just like, I don't want to write anything anymore.
No.
So then, but that's actually probably why I'm doing the live show, because I was like, I now want to make something that I know there's an end point and I know it will be made, and I know that, and it'll be a different thing for my brain to sort of engage in while other stuff is happening. And it has been actually really nice. I wouldn't say really nice. I'd say it's stressful at first, and then now I've figured out how to sort of do what I do in screen time, but on stage without it feeling weird and sketchy and stuff. And what's the word? Like, I don't know, translating it onto stage. I think it actually does work, but there was a lot of fannying around before stuff worked. There's a lot of like, well, that feels eggy and that's lame. Like, and me performing it like a little play, that was horrible. So now it's stand up, but I'm just on my phone and I'm like trying to do something, but very knowing of like, we all know that I'm not obviously trying to do this. Like, it is very much a device, and you can see my phone behind me, and I'm just sort of fanning around, but without any like, at the 40-minute mark, I reveal that I have a deep trauma. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
No, okay.